Hello YouTube, this is Rudy Davis. Today is Saturday, March the 14th. I wanted to make a quick video called Work or Don't Eat. But before I get into that, I also want to tell a quick story. It has to do with smoking, and I'm the last person in the world to tell anybody how to live their life. For all of you out there who smoke, I mean, my dad has smoked all his life. I got a great relationship with my dad. We go out and eat all the time. He's like 77 years old. He's an independent cuss, and I know a lot of you out in YouTube land are independent cusses, and the last thing you want is some dumb, well, I was going to say something, but I'm going to try not to use any cuss words. So last thing you want is somebody like me telling you how to live your life, and I understand that. This is mainly to the younger people. But let me tell a quick story and say my piece and then get on with the focus of the video. I was at work a few years ago, and my brother Robert was in the hospital, and I knew he was in the hospital. I didn't know how serious it was, and I was deep in the middle of something at work, and I had a lot of things going on. I received a phone call on my cell phone, and my mom says, "You need to get up to the hospital." And I said, "Mom, I got a lot of stuff going on at work. It's in the middle of the day, and there's a lot of things going on." And then she said something that I think all of us can relate to, and all of us know the tone of the voice from a mother, that when she says this, there's no rebuttal, right? She said, "Rudy, you need to get up to the hospital right now." And when your mom speaks to you like that, you know what's going on, right? There's no like, "Oh, Mom," or there's no other conversation to have. I mean, you just get your butt up to the hospital. So I immediately got my butt up to the hospital, and I left my work, and I'll never forget when I walked into the hospital room and I saw my brother who's dying of lung cancer from smoking. I walked into the room, and I remember my mother saying, and my mother and my father are in the room at the time, and I remember my mother saying something to the effect of, "Rudy's here." And I remember looking at Robert's face, and he strained to bring his consciousness forward, and he opened his eyes, and we made eye contact, and I remember he gave me a little nod. And that's something I'll never forget for the rest of my life. I'll never forget that. And the reason that was had such an impression upon me is that I stayed in that room throughout the remainder of the night. All of us did. And I never left. And that was his last conscious act on this earth. That was his last conscious act, to acknowledge that I had come and visited him in his time of death. And it got me to thinking, I watch YouTube videos out there, and I see the young people light up a cigarette, and it breaks my heart. I mean, why would you purposely want to engage in an action that's going to cut your life short? You have to realize, I respect all of you guys out on YouTube that are making patriot videos. I learn so much from you. You inspire me. And when I see you engaging in an action that is going to hurt your chances and potentially cut your life short, it breaks my heart, because every life that you touch is going to be better off for it. And I'll say that, I think we all have causes that we'll die for. We all have something that we believe so strongly for, whether it be the Constitution of the United States, our love for our family, our belief in the Second Amendment, that we feel so strongly that we'll die for. But I would offer for your consideration, it's a lot more harder to live for something. It's a lot more harder to make decisions, to go out and make the right decisions that allow you to go live for somebody, right? If you hold a job and bring in an income, and you put up with all the crap that you have to put up with at work, and you make a decision not to smoke, and you make good health decisions, and you take care of your body because you know that the longer you are here, the more you can help those that you love. And again, I'm all about individual decisions, and I'm all about the right of person to do what they want to do. And so if you want to smoke, I'm all for that, as far as you understand the ramifications. And when young people light up a cigarette, I feel obligated as kind of an older fart to say, hey, please think about what you're doing. You have the right to do that, sure, but it's going to affect your life later on. It has the potential to greatly impact it. My own dad as well had his leg amputated. He's 77 years old, and he's got his leg amputated because of blood circulation issues, brought about by smoking. So, that's what I got to say about that. I've said my piece. Having said that, if you want to go smoke, go for it, man. That's your decision. Please think about what I said, though, about, it's just, why would you want to engage in an activity that knowingly is going to cut your life short? And have respect for your life. Have respect because you know that you can still hang around longer to help those that you love. But anyway, I'm going to go on to my story. And, I had a granddad in Dallas, and my understanding is, I'm going to relay what I've been told. He had like the first or the second dairy farm that was opened up in Dallas. It was called Morningstar Dairies. And he got the land. That land is no longer in the family. It was long since sold off. But in any event, he got the land from a guy that was named Captain Gaston, is my understanding. And Captain Gaston gave my grandfather that land, and I never met my grandfather. He died before I was born. But my understanding is one of the requirements was that my grandfather had to put a milk on the back of Captain Gaston's porch, right? And every single morning, and he had to milk cows every single morning as well. He had a dairy farm, and if you know anything about a dairy farm, the cows got to be milked in the morning. And you say, well, that sounds like a lot of hard work. Well, you don't know the half of it. I mean, when I say the cows got to be milked in the morning, and this is what, the way my dad has related to me, I don't care if it's Christmas. I don't care if it's Easter. I don't care if it's your birthday. I don't care if there was a death in the family the previous day. I don't care if it's 2 degrees. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care if you're sick. The cows got to be milked in the morning. If you don't milk the cows in the morning, they start to dry up. It affects the whole herd. So you got to milk the freaking cows in the morning. I mean, there's no excuse. The cows got to be milked. And so during the Great Depression, my understanding is other family members and other friends that they would come work on the farm, and they would all distribute out the fruits of the farm, and everybody would have a chance to eat. But my grandfather had a saying, work or don't eat. Now, I just relay that on. That's just the way that it is. And you get into a conversation with these socialists, or you get into a conversation with people of a collectivist mindset, and it sounds very cold. But if you read Davy Crockett's It's Not Yours to Give, the American people are not obligated to build safety nets. And I know that there's people that temporarily get down and they need help, and I'm all for helping people if they're people that also want to help themselves. But people that sit back and say, you have an obligation to help me, and you have an obligation to provide me food and welfare and universal health care, and you have an obligation to make sure that I got enough to have a decent living. That's bullshit. I don't want to cuss in this video. My cussing videos are done for a while. But that's not right. I mean, we have to prepare ourselves to have the proper ethical arguments to fight against these people, because it's becoming a mainstream argument, and they're winning because of the numbers. And yet, even though their argument is absolutely wrong, we don't have obligations to prepare safety nets for these people. I'm going to give you some books that I think are ammunition. One of them is, I admire Ayn Rand, and I don't think she's an atheist. I'm not an atheist. That doesn't mean I don't admire the work that she did. Atlas Shrugged was an awesome book that tells us why people are they give the fruits of their own labor. Atlas Shrugged, Davy Crockett's It's Not Yours to Live, The Fountainhead, We the Living, Capitalism, The Unknown Ideal. If you want to read a short one and you don't have time to read one of the longer books, go to Google and type in Ayn Rand speech to West Point graduates. Okay, she gave a speech to West Point graduates about how to use your logic and your mind and your reason, and we're responsible for that. I thought that was a great little speech that she gave to the graduates of West Point. But let me quickly say that I know the government is making it harder on us to make a living, and they're rewarding the corrupt and the evil people and the incompetent, right? That's what all these bailouts are about. And so do not expect honest men to remain good when the system and when the government rewards the incompetent, and they reward those that, they reward those that do not work and do not pull their own weight, and they only have achieved their wealth from graft and also from persuasion, and they from fancy talking and bending the rules and regulations of the government to benefit their own businesses. Do not expect good men to remain good in those conditions. Do not expect good men to remain fodder for the immoral and the unethical. In those situations when government they tax us to death and they tax us to death and they screw the system up so bad, expect good men to rise up. Expect good men to say, that's crap, I'm not going to play in the system anymore, and we're going to rebel against the system and do what it takes to turn the system around and to get it back to a system where it's an equal playing field for everybody. So anyway, that's all I got to say. That's my video for today, and God bless you all out there. Thank you.